Alright, so I used the books a few times in Alistair to make it where he could now go ahead and don that armor set. I, of course, will be working on my set later on when we get to Bodan, and I can purchase the other pieces.
Greetings. Are you one of the Grey Wardens that went into the wilds? Did you happen to see any white flowers?
Yes, in fact, I have one of them.
I don't know for sure that the flower will aid my poor hounds, but it's worth trying. I have, let's see, 20 silver to offer as a reward for it.
That should be fine.
Thank you for your assistance, then. Perhaps we won't lose as many hounds as I'd feared.
Alright. He's gone. Perfect.
Hello again. Is there something you need?
I need to sell you things to clear up my inventory. Picked up a number of things there, things I'm never going to use, so I'll just go ahead and get some of these. I'm sure some of you are like, no, don't get rid of those. Sorry. Some of these things I just don't want. And I'll go ahead and sell you another golden egg so I can get another 100 sovereigns. This is just going to be such a great way to not have to be concerned about money anymore. Some of these I'll hold on to for when we eventually get more again. I always forget what these are for, other than I think when we can be able to actually have our, Oh, he had another backpack ready to go. Yay! I didn't even realize that he had another backpack. That's nice. So I've also set it up where I can be able to have a number of different ways to be able to store things away without the need to do the DLC where we go get the keep. Because I seem to be having an issue with that DLC. Because at times it just simply won't continue. I don't know what the issue is, but that's just kind of what I encounter.
Welcome, young man. Indeed, the circle makes tranquil those with insufficient skill to become a mage. We lose our emotions, but can still play a vital role in the circle. The brand is a minor price to pay. I am pleased to serve as a merchant and artisan, and people do not fear me as they do mages.
Obviously, we know this becomes a far larger issue when we get to Dragon Age 2. And boy, oh boy. Ugh. There are some moments in there involving tranquility that just made me go, oh my gosh. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Allow me to put it this way. Do you know why those with magical talent are feared?
Because the ancient Aventer Imperium was ruled by mages.
They were feared for their power, but magic is feared for reasons beyond their tyranny. Those with magical talent attract demons and spirits. We can be possessed easily and thus become horrors known as abominations. Even those with minor talents attract hungry spirits. Anyone with the power may learn blood magic from these demons. Hence, we are considered dangerous. This is our curse. Thus, I was made tranquil, stripped of emotions and talent. I am no longer dangerous.
How is someone made tranquil?
Our forehead is branded with magic, which stills our talent and mind. The process is irreversible as far as I am aware.
What's funny is later on in Inquisition, we find out that this is not true. That it actually can be reversed. Even though in Dragon Age 2, they made it seem as if there is no way to come back from it. And then in Inquisition, we find out that's not the case. And I believe this is something that you actually can find out if you if you recruit the Templars to join the Inquisition, which I am planning on doing, so I will try and show you that part when we encounter it on camera, just to kind of reiterate this point. Perhaps all mages should be made tranquil.
You might feel differently were you a mage. Of course. What may I assist you with? Good.
Back again? Don't the Grey Wardens need you? Off you go. I have preparations to make for the battle, and I won't be distracted.
Greetings. King Kalen is not in his tent right now? I believe he's with the Grey Wardens in camp, drinking. He holds them in high regard, you know, as his father did. As you wish.
Well, don't touch the carcass. We'll be burning it so it
So they're just here waiting for the battle. Alright. Hey, Barkspawn.
So you returned from the wilds. Have you been successful?
We have.
Good. I've had the Circle mages preparing. With the blood you've retrieved, we can begin the joining immediately.
Maybe we should tell you about Morgan and her mother.
There was a woman at the tower, and her mother had the scrolls. They were both very... odd.
Were they wilder folk?
I don't think so. They might be apostates. Mages hiding from the Chantry.
I know you were once a Templar, Alistair, but Chantry business is not ours. We have the scrolls. Let us focus on the joining.
And... okay, will you tell us what this ritual is about?
I will not lie. We Grey Wardens pay a heavy price to become what we are. Fate may decree that you pay your price now, rather than later.
Are you saying the ritual can kill us?
As could any darkspawn you might face in battle. You would not have been chosen, however, if I did not think you had a chance to survive.
Let's go then. I'm anxious to see this joining now.
I agree. Let's have it done.
Then let us begin. Alistair, take them to the old temple.
I didn't get to ask him about the second thoughts thing. My bad. I should have asked that first. I forgot which ones you could ask before it triggers.
The more I hear about this joining, the less I like it.
Are you blubbering again?
Why all these damn tests? Have I not earned my place?
Maybe it's tradition. Maybe they're just trying to annoy you.
You can just sense that Jory is just kind of starting to fall apart here. That this is not at all what he was wanting or hoping for or expecting. Will you stop yammering?
I only know that my wife is in Highover with a child on the way. If they had warned me, it just doesn't seem fair.
Would you have come if they'd warned you? Maybe that's why they don't. The Wardens do what they must, right?
Including sacrificing us?
I'd sacrifice a lot more if I knew it would end the Blight.
Will you both shut up?
Yes, Sir Knight. Try not to wet your trousers until the ritual starts.
I've just never faced a foe I could not engage with my blade.
At last, we come to the joining. The Grey Wardens were founded during the First Blight, when humanity stood on the verge of annihilation. So it was that the first Grey Wardens drank of Darkspawn blood and mastered their taint.
We're going to drink the blood of those creatures.
As the first Grey Wardens did before us, as we did before you. This is the source of our power and our victory.
Those who survive the joining become immune to the taint. We can sense it in the Darkspawn and use it to slay the Archdemon.
Now, something here is kind of important that they don't really say out loud here. They're not just drinking it straight up. It's not like, because they've been making a point that, like some of the Mabari, if they, drink some of the blood from the Darkspawn they kill, it's a poison. So we're not just drinking it just straight up out, how we found it. There's a special kind of enchantment and such that, the Grey Wardens have to use on this in order to make it into a special kind of state that allows them to have a chance to become a Grey Warden. So it's, there's a, and they don't say that, and they also don't make it clear that that's kind of required and part of the, the whole knowledge of why we can't then make more Grey Wardens later on. It's not like we can just kind of like, here, drink some Darkspawn blood to just anybody. There has to be a certain way that it's handled to make it, suitable for someone to actually have a chance to become a Grey Warden. Otherwise, they're just drinking poison and it's going to kill them. Whereas a Grey Warden would be able to have some of the knowledge that you need in order to be able to change it into a state that allows you to have a shot. They don't really make that clear, though, here. And that's kind of important for what's going to be happening later on when it's just me and Alistair, because he doesn't share this knowledge with Alistair and myself. It's not until we encounter Riordan later on that we actually have a chance to do that, because Riordan is a veteran warden like Duncan who would have this knowledge. Whereas Alistair and I are new to this and don't really have that knowledge. So anyways. So those who survive... And if we're not sure about this?
Since the beginning, the Grey Wardens have been charged with finding those who are strong enough to attempt the joining and recruiting them into our ranks for the good of all. Not all who drink the blood will survive, and those who do are forever changed. This is why the joining is a secret. It is the price we pay. We speak only a few words prior to the joining, but these words have been said since the first. Alistair, if you would.
Join us, brothers and sisters. Join us in the shadows where we stand vigilant. Join us as we carry the duty that cannot be forsworn. And should you perish, know that your sacrifice will not be forgotten, and that one day we shall join you.
Davith, step forward.
I'm sorry, Davith.
I am sorry, Davith. Step forward, Jory.
But I have a wife, a child. Had I known...
There is no turning back.
No, you ask too much. There is no glory in this.
I am sorry. But the joining is not yet complete. You are called upon to submit yourself to the taint for the greater good. From this moment forth, you are a Grey Warden. It is finished. Welcome.
2 more deaths. In my joining, only one of us died, but it was horrible. I'm glad at least one of you made it through.
How do you feel?
So, first off, I need to clarify something that you guys may have noticed. I had to do an edit there because, well, the first time I was recording this, it kind of went to a black screen when it was going to show the Archdemon there. And then when it cut back to this, it was still a black screen and no audio or anything. So I had to reload This is one of the things I'm glad and really glad, about being able to record a game like this where I can save and reload in case something like this happens. So I can be able to reload and just kind of skip through the dialogue and get back to this point, just so I can try and show you those parts properly. I was wondering if maybe having mods was causing it to be buggy, which it kind of was, but yeah, I hope that's not going to be an issue going forward. We'll see. So yeah, had to make an edit there. Got to until I showed it to you properly. So anyways, we got to talk about that because obviously it's a very controversial scene there. First off, poor Davith, because his heart was in the right place. You could tell that this was not a terrible guy, even though apparently he had probably had to be conscripted for, doing something that was considered criminal or whatever. I don't think we get clarification on that. But the fact that he was like, hey, look, I'd be willing to sacrifice my life if it meant we'd be able to save the world from the Blight. You could tell that's, okay, this is a guy whose heart is in the right place. Cool. Then we get to Jory. Now, I've heard people, talk about this and debate this issue about what Duncan did there and whether or not he was in the right. Now, I'm going to bring this up with Duncan here in just a moment so that he can kind of speak for himself. But let's go over what happened there. We kind of saw what was going to happen because Jory was all jittery and all nervous, just like seeming like he was under the delusion of what this actually was more so about. And it kind of goes back to what I said about Kalen. So first off, when it's his turn, he draws his weapon right away. He's the first to draw his weapon. And is immediately defensive, showing to Duncan that if he comes closer with that cup, he may attack him. And Duncan warns him one more time, there is no going back, you've committed to this. And then he says, no, you ask too much, there is no glory in this. Remember what I said earlier about Kalen? Some people seem to have the delusion that this is all about having glory. And that's not what this is about. And it just kind of told me that that's kind of the impression that Jory apparently thought this was about. Having glory as one of the Grey Wardens, not knowing or willing to really pay the price that they pay. The more I've thought about it, the more I almost start to think that the Grey Wardens are similar in the regards to, say, Demon Hunters in WoW. That they have to be willing to make this kind of ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. Now, it's not clear, in terms of having to do something that could ultimately kill them. And that's kind of what Demon Hunters face in WoW as well. But even though they have to sacrifice themselves in order to defeat the enemy and such. But you guys hopefully get my point of what I'm trying to say there, in that type of comparison. So, Duncan draws his weapon to defend himself, and then Jory attacks him first. He's the one who swings first, as Duncan gets closer, trying to perhaps settle him down, or calm him down. But once Jory attacked him, that's when Duncan had basically no choice. And had to have Jory pay the price that Wardens sometimes have to pay at the joining, instead of later on. So I don't blame Duncan for that. That was all on Jory. Duncan was completely in the right, in my opinion, based on the things I saw there. I don't blame Duncan in the slightest for that. And so, as I said earlier, because once we become a Grey Warden, we then see the Archdemon. And that's basically the confirmation that we need to know this is a Blight. To see and hear the Archdemon, oh yeah, it's a Blight for sure. Now, if you say here, I still can't believe you killed Sir Jory, Duncan says this in response.
Jory was warned that there was no turning back, as were you all. When he went for his blade, however, he left me no choice. It brought me no pleasure to end his life. The Blight demands sacrifices from us all. Thankfully, you stand here as proof they are not all made in vain.
Did you have dreams? I had terrible dreams after my joining.
Such dreams come when you begin to sense the darkspawn, as we all do. That and many other things can be explained in the months to come.
Before I forget, there is one last part to your joining. We take some of that blood and put it in a pendant. Something to remind us of those who didn't make it this far.
Take some time. When you're ready, I'd like you to accompany me to a meeting with the king.
What kind of meeting?
The king is discussing strategy for the upcoming battle. I am not sure why he has requested your presence. The meeting is to the west, down the stairs. Please attend as soon as you're able.
All right. Hey, puppy. I should have just named him Puppy. Okay, so now... where are my Grey Warden powers? I demand Grey Warden powers! I may have to save and reload. I'll go ahead and grab Dispel Magic.
If the king wants to see you and Duncan, you probably shouldn't keep him waiting. He might get mad, start crying.
We can speak
You'll
more
feel
after
bad.
the meeting with the king.
Well, it won't be pretty.
I have a feeling Alistair is doing that partly because he knows that's his brother. Or half-brother.
Hello again. Is it?
Whoops.
Hello again.
It's like, oh look, now all of a sudden they have their weapons. I've already got the crystals for Shale. I think that'll be okay. In the meantime, let me get these down here. Alright. Go ahead and turn these off. Just so that aura and effect is not, like, causing issues. Alright.
Loghain, my decision is final. I will stand by the Grey Wardens in this assault.
You risk too much, Kalen. The Darkspawn Horde is too dangerous for you to be playing hero on the front lines.
If that's the case, perhaps we should wait for the Orlesian forces to join us after all.
I must repeat my protest to your fool notion that we need the Orlesians to defend ourselves.
It is not a fool notion. Our arguments with the Orlesians are a thing of the past, and you will remember who is king.
How fortunate Marek did not live to see his son ready to hand Ferelden over to those who enslaved us for a century.
Then our current forces will have to suffice, won't they? Duncan, are your men ready for battle?
They are, Your Majesty.
And this is the young lord from Highever I met earlier. I understand congratulations are in order.
So I want you to pay attention to someone who's about to walk in on the right side of your screen. You saw him earlier, or at least the back of him, but it's the guy who we're going to encounter in the Circle Tower later. I forget his name, but he's the the mage guy we encounter at the top of the tower. Just pay attention for when he walks in. And he's like, "Oh, the mages could help," and the Chantry steps in and is like, "No." Just pay attention for that. It's kind of important and kind of plays into the, what's kind of going on behind the scenes in the bigger picture and what was actually happening, in terms of the, Loghain's kind of like, okay, we'll move this, do this, do this, do this. So, anyways. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Every Grey Warden is needed now. You should be honored to join their ranks.
Your fascination with glory and legends will be your undoing, Kalen. We must attend to reality.
Fine. Speak your strategy. The Grey Wardens and I draw the Darkspawn into charging our lines, and then?
You will alert the tower to light the beacon, signaling my men to charge from
To
cover.
flank the Darkspawn, I remember. This is the Tower of Ishal in the ruins, yes? Well, who shall light this beacon?
I have a few men stationed there. It's not a dangerous task, but it is vital.
Then we should send our best. Send Alistair and the new Grey Warden to make sure it's done.
I mean, if it's not dangerous, I could do it by myself.
No. It's best that you both go.
You rely on these Grey Wardens too much. Is that truly wise?
Enough of your conspiracy theories, Loghain. Grey Wardens battle the Blight no matter where they're from.
Your Majesty, you should consider the possibility of the Archdemon appearing.
There have been no signs of any dragons in the wilds.
Isn't that what your men are here for, Duncan?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
There he is.
The tower and its beacon are unnecessary. The
We
circle
will
of
not
Magi...
trust any lives to your spells, Mage. Save them for the Darkspawn.
Enough! This plan will suffice. The Grey Wardens will light the beacon.
Thank you, Loghain. I cannot wait for that glorious moment. The Grey Wardens battle beside the King of Ferelden to stem the tide of evil.
Yes, Galen. A glorious moment for us all.
You heard the plan. You and Alistair will go to the Tower of Ishal and ensure the beacon is lit.
What? I won't be in the battle.
This is by the King's personal request, Alistair. If the beacon is not lit, Tern Loghain's men won't know when to charge.
So he needs 2 Grey Wardens standing up there holding the torch, just in case, right?
By the way, Duncan absolutely wanted this to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if Duncan helped kind of make this happen, because he absolutely knew what he was doing here, because we know that Duncan knows about Alistair and his blood. So Duncan absolutely intended to have Alistair be held back from the battle in case the worst was to happen. He had contingency plans here in place involving Alistair because he was, had the expectation of, well, if things go bad, he's our backup plan, Just kind of like what Arl Eamon starts to think later on when we free him. He's like, well, we need someone of the bloodline, and Alistair, you're basically our only option here at this point. So, yeah, I'm convinced that Duncan was absolutely behind making this happen. Where is the tower exactly?
The tower is on the other side of the gorge from the King's camp, the way we came when we arrived. You'll need to cross the gorge and head through the gate and up to the tower entrance. From the top, you'll overlook the entire valley.
When do we light it?
We will signal you when the time is right. Alistair will know what to look for.
Can we join the battle afterwards?
Stay with the Terran's men and guard the tower. If you are needed, we will send word.
That's another confirmation right there to me. He was like, no, do not join the battle afterwards. Just stay where you are. So what if the Archdemon appears?
We soil our drawers, that's what.
If it does, leave it to us. I want no heroics from either of you.
How much time do we have?
The battle is about to begin. Once I leave, move quickly. You'll have less than an hour.
Alright, I know what I have to do.
Then I must join the others. From here, you two are on your own. Remember, you are both Grey Wardens. I expect you to be worthy of that title.
Duncan, may the Maker watch over you.
May he watch over us all.
Alright, we get Puppy back. Boxspawn returns. This is one of the things I do like about doing this as a human noble instead of the other origins, is that we get to have our puppy with us right from the get-go, as opposed to getting him after Ostagar. So, yeah, he'll get to go with us to the tower, which is wonderful. So, anyways, when we return, the Battle of Ostagar. Stay tuned.